Hello, white people. What is more useless than a millennial? A Zoomer, of course. Generation Z. For the last several years, I have heard in the alternative media how Generation Z is going to be the most conservative generation since the silent generation or the greatest generation or people who were born during the Great Depression, and I've always called bullshit on that. There's no way in hell that Zoomers can be conservative. Why, do you ask? Well, thank you for asking. Generation Z has never had to struggle for 1 second. They've had everything handed to them. There might be a few Zoomers that had to struggle but in the most part, they all have their heads up the ass of the matrix, and they are terrified of living. Have you ever walked up and tried to talk to a millennial? They freak the fuck out. They do not know how to interact with people one-on-one. They think that communication needs to happen through their digital device. And these young people, once Generation X is gone, because Generation X is the last American generation, once Generation X is gone or unable to maintain the infrastructure, and we're coming really close to that, the whole place is going to crumble. Do you even know how old our infrastructure is? Our infrastructure is being held together by popsicle sticks and duct tape. It is crumbling around the edges, and this country has had so much money. We could have replaced the infrastructure 5 times over, but you know what the problem is? There's nobody to do it. Generation X was convinced that we needed to go to college and get a desk job to have a better life. And you know what that means? That means that there was nobody who was told they need to work on the infrastructure, or the people who couldn't make it into college, because this was the beginning of student loans, and people who didn't get student loans and didn't go to college and got real jobs that did real things and built real things, those are the people that were maintaining the infrastructure. And college is only meant for the upper 20% of the population. It's not meant for 100% of the population, because when it's meant for 100% of the population, that means it's just an indoctrination tool. And that's what college is. When I went to college, how old was I? 19 years old, and I had to take a women's studies class, and I want to let you all know that I failed that class because I challenged the teacher at every turn. At one point, she showed me this picture, and she says, this is a represents lady bits, and isn't it beautiful, like artwork? I'm like, that's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. And the topics that were discussed, I can even remember to this day. You know how old I am? I'm 52, you guys. And I can remember when I was 19 taking that retarded class. And I wasn't going to be having any of it because it was all fake bullshit. And now we have these Zoomers who are completely connected to the internet, to the matrix, to the industrial complex, the military industrial complex, the pharmacy industrial complex, the corrections, or you would call the police, whatever. They can't function. We're fucked. We're seriously fucked. So, do we fight for these young people? Do we fight for a future for our young people? Or do we just let the system crash and say, oh well, we gave it a go? Anyway, I made a video, and a 19-minute video, and I put it on BitChute, and I go into some intricate detail about how useless Generation Z is. If you're interested, I'll put a link in the comment section. All right, white people, that's the damage for now. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to your thoughts below.